Alright, Assalamualaikum. This is my individual presentation for course HLC2533 or Halal Assurance Management System. I present this slide for Puan Nurul Ain, Binti Saleh, my beloved lecturer. Now we move to our next slide, which is to know me. To know me, which is the presenter. My name is Muhammad ALIF HYQAL bin SHAHFUDIN. You can call me Alif or Alip. My ID number is BMH 22-11-037, and my choice factory was Retort Niaga Sendirian Berhad. We move to our next slide. The table of content. The content that we will talk here is what is halal control point, the objective of halal control point, the sources and types of halal threat, halal Taliban control point likelihood ranking, which is table 1, halal control point severity or impact ranking, which is table 2, and halal control point risk matrix, table 3, and lastly, halal control point process step. Move to our first element, which is what is halal control point. Halal control point (HCP) is a critical stage in food production where there is a risk of non-compliance with halal standards. It involves ensuring ingredients, processing, storage, transportation, and packaging are all in line with Islamic dietary laws to maintain the product's halal status and prevent contamination. Now we move to the HCP objective. First, ensure compliance with halal standards. The objective is to guarantee that all aspects of the productions and distribution process adhere to halal guidelines. We move to our next, which is the second, to prevent cross-contamination. The objective is to avoid any potential contamination of halal products with non-halal or haram substances. We move to our next, which is the third, maintain transparency and traceability. The objective is to ensure complete transparency and traceability of halal products throughout the supply chain. Number four is uphold ethical and humane practices. The objective is to ensure that ethical and humane practices are followed in the production of halal products. Now, we move to our next slide, which is sources. The information collected for material package, employees' knowledge, report on production, and also external information. We move to our next um, element, which is types of halal trade. There is four of it, which is material, people, machine or equipment, and environment. This four is all the potential of haram substances will come from them. Now we move to our next slide, which is table one. The Harlan Taliban control point likelihood. What is likelihood? Likelihood is the frequency that will happen in the industry. First, we move to first we first is likelihood. The possibility of halalan Taliban effect expect to occur to occur in most circumstances, which is the Highland Toiban status uh, is happen common or repeated occurrences or has happened before several times. This is likely that in other words is always happen. And the second one is moderate. The possibility of halal and toyama status affected might occur sometimes. This is mean it has happened before or known to occur, but not several times, just maybe one or two times in a year or in 6 months. So we move to the last one, which is unlikely. The possibility of halal and toyable status effect could occur in exceptional circumstances. Sorry. which in other words is practically impossible. But we must to believe and we must to know that in industry there is nothing that impossible. Anything can happen. So we must take it seriously and always be always be safe. Now we move to our next table, which is table 2, halal control point severity or impact ranking. The first one we get critical, the potential contaminant, non-halal or detrimental, which is in other word is mudarat substances, affects the totality of halal status of the good and or cargo, and the halal status of the goods and or cargo could not be salvaged. Second one, the release of the good and or cargo will result in lost trust from customers, public, and authorities. The authorities is very important one because we must have their trust to get certification from them and to get list in the white list so that we can make it can make our work more easy. So now we move to our last, may cause great impact for future business transaction. We move to the second one, which is moderate. It means like semi. It is bad and is but it doesn't that bad to be critical. Yeah, so the first one is the potential contaminant, non-halal or detrimental, which is moderate substances, affects the halal status of the good and or cargo, and the halal status of the goods and or cargo still could be salvaged, may result in delay of delivery or shipment and potential loss of future contracts, possible loss of public trust. I said earlier the authorities is important, right? But the public trust is more important because if we don't have any trust from the public, then how the customer or the consumer will trust in our company to buy our product or to use our product. Now we move to the last one that is insignificant. The description is no impact on the halal status of the goods and or cargo, which is there is no haram thing inside of our company. Only toyiban aspect, which is in the quality. Now we move to our next table, which is table 3, Highline Control Point Risk Management. As you can see the arrow, the way to read this is if I take the mixing, the likelihood of the mixing be haram, sorry, my computer, okay. The likelihood of the haram thing happen in mixing process is moderate. But the thing that happen in the process is critical. So we take it from moderate and move it to the under critical. So we get significant. What is significant? Significant is number 8. What is number 8? Right. Let me make it simple. For the number 7, 8, and 9, we can label it as halal control point, which can make the thing goes haram. Right. Uh, Right. It is the control point. Okay. Right. Sorry. We move to our next, which is halal control point process step. Right. This one I take from my halal. From my halal assurance system manual, which is has manual that I made um, 3 days ago for this course assignment two. Right. The first one, the first flow that I investigate is receiving. Why I choose receiving? Because the list of potential contaminant or contaminant is first I take from raw material delivered to the premise with expired halal certificate. The inclusion company halal certification can be revoked. The likelihood is moderate. The severity is critical. Why? Because there is a chance that the there is a chance that the product may the halal the raw material may get infected with haram substances. The risk ranking is 8 and it automatically will become halal control point. The control measure that I make from these types, which is material, is hold any purchase from supplier which did not renewing their halal certificate. But if um, they didn't tell us that their halal certificate has been expired, we can sue them, right? The halal democratic critical control point or HCCP is a yes. Now we move to people. Visitors or workers bring their own personal belongings such as food and drinks which mix with haram sources. Uh, for example, the workers bring their food like pork and bring their beverages like alcohol inside the production. Inclusion. The presence of haram material may cause the company's halal certificate to be revoked. The other one is the presence of haram material may cause the products in our factory be mixed with the haram substance. The likelihood is likely and the severity is critical. And of course, the risk ranking will be 9. And automatically will become halal control point. And there is two reason why there is the two of the four reason why I choose this. Alright, the control measure that I see is put signage on haram material put signage on which say haram material is banned in the premise or in the company or in for in detail in production area. Next, visual inspection before visitors and workers entering the premise. Alright, so the critical control point is a yes. Now we move to the equipment. Grease for equipment like forklift. Grease for equipment like forklift from non-halal sources. The presence of haram substance like pig oil may cause cross-contamination and can make halal certification be revoked. This is an unlikely event, but even if it is unlikely, it is still a critical severity, and this risk rank is 6. The control measure that I make is only purchase goods from supplier that have halal certification and do ritual cleansing, which is SIR 2. Um, the halal and toiban control critical control point is a no because there is unlikely thing to happen. So we move to our next one, which is environment. Haram animals, which is dog, may enter the premise during receiving. Why? Because when we receive the raw material, we will open our door to take the raw material inside, and there is a possibility that the dog can enter it and make a mess, and we have to settle and everything. So the inclusion is the environment with dogs can affect halal certification. The likelihood is likely because the our chose company which is Return Against Neighborhood in Cheng Malacca, and there is a lot of dogs there, and it is easy for the dogs to get into the factory, and the severity is moderate. Why? Because um, why it is moderate is because if the dogs get have a chance to get into the factory, there is a chance that uh, the dog did not okay, there is a chance that the dogs did not touch any of our raw material. So the risk ranking is 7, and the control measure is call or contact competent authority to catch the dog, or we can move the dog with using our hand, but it has to be covered with the hand glove. Or if you want to be safe, you can um, make it go away with some big and loud noise. Right. Now we move to our next one, which is mixing. Why we choose mixing is because this for causes, which is the first one is material. Mixing halal raw material with haram material. Why the inclusion is this will make return against number has certificate be revoked. The likelihood is unlikely because we always make sure that our machine is well well inspected. Alright, the severity is critical, and the risk ranking is 6. Alright, the control measure that I put for this type is put signage that telling non-Muslim operator to not bring any prohibited material or beverages into production. What is prohibited material or beverages? Which, for the example, is alcohol, lard, pork, and etc. The HCCP is a no. Why it is a no? Because only the point is 6. Right, if the people operator's hand or finger has cuts and bleeding. The blood fell into the mixer while production running. The inclusion, the product will become haram because human and animal blood is haram to be consumed by Muslim. The likelihood is likely, and the severity is critical. Why it is critical? Because blood is a haram thing. Now, the risk ranking is 9, and the control measure is to display signage in production area telling operator to be safe, send all employee to machine safety training guidelines, and this I put myself is to display signage too in production area to tell operators to always wear hand glove. Right. The HCCP is a yes. We move to the equipment. Company bought a second-hand machine without any discussion with halal executive. The inclusion, the presence of haram substances like pig's DNA from the machine can make halal certificate being revoked. The likelihood is unlikely because our company buy any did not buy any machine from their first opening because their machine is always work perfectly. But the severity is critical because if there is any pig's DNA or any haram substances in the machine or at the machine, the our products will automatically become haram. The the risk ranking is 6. What is the control measure that I put? Discuss with halal executive before purchase any equipment. And lastly, conduct certain process after every purchase of second-hand machine. If you shubha, which is you mean you are not really confident with the company that you bought from. The HCCP is a no. Now we move to our last one, which is environment. For example, mice fell into the machine while production is running. The inclusion is the mice contains a lot of bacteria and will damage the quality of the product and can be a hazard, which is physical hazard. And also, if the mice get into the mixing machine, the mice will crash, and the blood will affect the product and will become haram. The likelihood is unlikely because in retard najis number had we always use deep cleaning twice a year. And the severity is moderate, and sorry, there is a mistake. The severity is actually critical because um, if the blood get into the product will automatically become haram. So if we move to the table 3 just now, we can see we move here, unlikely and critical, right? We move to the table 3, we can see unlikely and critical, which is moderate, and it has to be 6. Okay, sorry, it has to be 6 here. Alright, sorry for the mistake. And we move to the control measure, which is do deep cleaning inside and outside of the factory twice a year, like I said earlier lah. And lastly, install netting at every ventilation fan so that the mouse cannot get into the factory. The HCCP is still the same. It is a no. We move to our last one, which is distribution. What is distribution? Distribution in or at loading bay out. So the first one is material. Raw material mixed with haram material during delivery transportation. The inclusion is haram material may cause the company halal certificate to be revoked. The likelihood is unlikely. The severity is critical, and the sorry, alright, and the risk ranking is 6. The control measure is to explain about haram material that forbidden brought into during training. The HCCP is a no. Next one is a people. Non-Muslim driver brings personal item like food with haram sauce. Like, yeah, the non-Muslim driver eat pork, right? And also they drink alcohol. Who knows? Maybe it will be mixed with the halal product that we made. The inclusion finished good product will be contaminated and become haram. The likelihood is moderate. The sorry, the severity is critical, and the risk ranking is 8. The countermeasure that we can do is give a contract to driver that they will be terminated if bring haram material at if bring haram material during transportation. And the second one is before buy grease product must get approved by halal. Sorry, that is for the second one. Sorry. The HCCP is yes. Now we move to the equipment. Using grease for machine like forklift from non-halal source. The inclusion grease from non-halal source can contaminate product. The likelihood is unlikely. The severity is critical, and the risk ranking is 6. Before buy grease, product must get approved by halal executive. Yes, this is the correct one. The HCCP is a no. Now we move to our last one. Environment. Rats enter through the loading bay door. Inclusion, rats go to storage and bite raw material. Yes, this is one of the sad thing to happen in industry, and it will make us very fast. Now the likelihood is moderate, the severity is moderate too, and the risk ranking is 5. The control measure is use tamper resistant base station, which is TRBS, on the first line and the second line, of the company, and lastly, use glue traps to prevent the rats to get into our factory. And HCCP is a no. Alright, that's all. Alright, that's all. Thank you for you guys for the attention, and sorry if there are any mistake that I made. That's all from me. Hope to get a high mark from you, Medain. And yeah, that's all. Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much, and don't forget to follow my IG that I put under there with the blue one, Alif Haikal. Alright, thank you. Bye. Assalamualaikum.